Welcome to my 2025 year debrief. This is a video where I summarized everything that I found good, bad, interesting in the year. First of all, a big thank you to all the viewers, members, and subscribers for making 2025 possible. Like any other year, without you, it wouldn't be really. I'm also trying to get 100,000 subscribers. It's been a while, maybe 2026 will be the year, and I will ask for your help. Pressing like and subscribe would help a lot. Thank you so much. Also, a big thank you to the channel sponsor, Coach Dave Academy, and it has been awesome working with them. Check them out. They'll be in the description below. This has been an interesting year because in pretty much every single year, there is something or a piece of kit that comes out and impresses me for all the wrong reasons. And this year, it was an exception because there wasn't something like that. Some equipment that I've reviewed would have issues, but there wouldn't be bad equipment like it happened in other times. This tells you that the market is actually really reaching maturity, and now you can choose based on what you need rather than what is good and what is bad. As this was the year that I have done most reviews, if I talk about everything in detail, we're going to spend hours here. Nobody has time for that. Let's go quickly through the equipment that I've checked and I found interesting. And starting with the pedals, we started the year with the Conspit CPP lights. And this was my first review of Conspit this year or ever. And Conspit CPP lights were an interesting thing because it really reminded me of what Fanatec should have been doing with their pedals. It was an interesting pedal set because it was very well constructed. It felt like a Fanatec V3 pedal, except on the brake pedal, which was hydraulic. Hydraulic pedals are interesting, but they are not really game changer. But what's interesting in that piece of equipment was that it felt everything very, very well built. And the price for an hydraulic pedal set, it isn't really that much. They have also released the CPP Apex, a more lower end, once again, hydraulic. My unit did have some issues with creaking and some sounds, but that was because it was a pre-production, I am told, and it felt as good as the CPP Apex for about half the price. Then Mazda released the CRP2s, and with that, the M Booster. The M Booster is definitely a game changer for the price, not really because it's an active pedal set, but because of the price of everything together. When everything is together with a 3-pedal set, it's the same price as a high-end regular pedal set like Hoising Velt or the IMSIM Talentos that I used, and for a lot of people, that is really good enough, and it would buy it, and it's a good pedal set. But the active pedals really aren't for me. I like that pedal set, but I ended up going back to the IMSIM Talentos because I just felt more comfortable with them. But for me, what takes the cake wasn't really the high ends or the mid end or the hydraulics, was actually the Simpson Pro X's, whatever they're called, because for $200, 200 pounds more or less, give or take a tenth or two or whatever, they gave you a really good pedal set. It wasn't perfect by any chance because there were some QR issues on mine, namely the pistons were a little squeaky, and also some of the surfaces needed to be having a little bit polish. You can do that on your side, but for $200, you have something really, really good. And I cannot recommend that enough if you are on a pinch and you don't want to spend a lot of money for a quality pedal. And this year, also for wheels, well, there were plenty of wheels that I've tested. Part of it is that I've got also access to third-party quick releases from the likes of Simub. Simub does have a good quick releases that makes it easier for me to test on Fanatec wheelbases. For wheels, well, one really big thing that I've tried was definitely the Conspit 300 GT. The prices at the start of the year were about 400 pounds, but they have gone up. But even so, at that price level, at that construction quality, it is a really good wheel. Fanatec also brought a new wheel called the Fanatec Porsche Vision GT CSL Elite. It is not a bad wheel, but it's a bit too big, kind of a little bit gimmicky in some places, but it felt really well constructed. Mazda released the FSR2, which I had access to as well. It is a really good wheel as well, but it also has the same issue that Conspit has, which is it only really runs their own screen with their own software, which is kind of limiting, especially in the case of Mazda, because it's a regular screen. In the case of the Conspit, it's a smaller screen, so you do need, it won't be really compatible with Sim Hub. And For the price of that wheel, I like the wheel, but for the price of that wheel, unless you aren't really want to stay on the Mazda ecosystem, I think there might be better choices elsewhere. And speaking of that, if you want to go really high-end, definitely the GSI FP V2 was, for me, the surprise. It's the wheel that I still continue to use, and I really like that wheel. Its ergonomics are fantastic. It's on the more weighty side, so you do need to have a good wheelbase to support it. But the detail, the construction quality, the screen is really good. The LEDs are really good, and I really like the GSI GXL V2. And adding a screen to it, it's basically a no-brainer to keep that one because the screen is really that big, and it gives you the information that you generally need in terms of times, in terms of fuel calculation. As for wheelbases, wow, what a huge year. I've never tested so many wheelbases this year from multiple brands. Conspit, I tested 3 Conspit wheelbases, the Eris 10 and then 12 newton meters, the Platinum 18 to 20 newton meters, and then a couple of months ago the Apex, which is their entry level Apex. And what I like about Conspit is how coherent the force feedback is between the Apex and the Platinum. It's basically the same wheelbase. It feels exactly the same. The Apex, it's going to be faster, it's going to be stronger, but there's not a discrepancy between force feedback quality. And it's something that was really fascinating. And if you get the Formula type prong, it also gives you an advantage because the quick release will be 300 grams lighter, though it does have some quality control issues, and they moved also to the Mazda style or D-Spec type quick release that is more popular out there. The software was good to try, and the quality, the build quality of the Conspit wheelbases is fantastic. Better than their pedals. The pedals are good, but the wheelbases are really good in terms of construction. And with the 300 GT, all of those wheelbases come alive because it's not a heavy wheel. If you buy a Conspit wheelbase, you can't go really wrong. But there were other wheelbases as well that I've tried this year, not only in separate bundle, like it happened in the Conspit. You can have them at the bundle with the CPP Apex and also the round steering wheel that they provide. After a long while, I was able to actually test Simracing, and it was interesting. I've tried this on the old firmware, the Simracing wheelbase, and it didn't really impress me that much. A lot of people were just being really, oh my god, this is game changing. It's in Lima Ultimate, which is a sim that I use a lot. With the old firmware, I still have to try it with the new one. It just felt like a noisy wheelbase. In iRacing and in Assetto Corsa was really good, but in everything else, it was more average. Conspit, in comparison, felt on average a little bit better than Simracing. And Logitech was as a wheelbase that, if you buy it separately, it was the wheelbase that it actually impressed me the most because it just felt good everywhere. It felt fantastic on Gran Turismo, it felt fantastic on iRacing. In Assetto Corsa Competizione, it tends to be one of the best wheelbases that I've tried. Lima Ultimate felt fantastic. Felt fantastic everywhere. The one that was just a little bit below was in Assetto Corsa, where the Simracing for me is the ultimate wheelbase that I've tried. And for the price, less than $300 for an 8 Nm wheelbase, if you just are going to buy yourself something for the PC, you can start there. You have a really good wheelbase. You can buy their quick release, and you have something that is an open ecosystem, just like you have with Simracing. But the price and the quality of force feedback is fantastic. And then we move to bundles that I've tried. I've tried 2 bundles, the Nikon RS and the PXN VD6. And it's interesting. I haven't tried a bad wheelbase this year. All wheelbases are good in their own regard. Even in isolation, the wheelbases are good. They're getting really good. Nikon's new wheelbase is no different. It felt like a mix between Mazda and Fanatec. Their pedals that were on the RS wheelbase with their bundle were fantastic. I wasn't expecting a load cell that good on that price point for a bundle. It felt better than every other entry load cell that I've tried. Very well constructed, lots and lots of good options. The wheelbase felt fantastic, and the wheel wasn't too bad. But the thing that put it down wasn't even the software, was the fact that even though it had that D-Spec type of quick release, you cannot use anything else other than their own wheel, and there's only one wheel, and that really sucks because that thing had an open ecosystem. It would be a really good choice for a lot of people, and it would be very easy to recommend. Even though I like the bundle in isolation, if you start looking at it from the perspective of the future, it's not something that I can really recommend. And then there's the other one, which was PXN. PXN has had the worst reviews from me ever. The V9 and the V10 are absolutely trash. They decided, okay, we have something good. I'm going to send you something. And I'm going to tell you, as opposite to the Nacon individually, every single unit felt better, except for the wheelbase where they're more like, pretty much the same. The pedals are okay for entry-level pedals. The wheel is okay-ish. It doesn't feel really that good. And the wheelbase is really good in pretty much all the sims. What is interesting is that in conjunction with the price and with the bundle, that bundle just makes sense. It's not very expensive. The price is like $400 more or less, depending on the area you are. And for the quality you have for force feedback, the VD6, which has 6 Newton meters, is an awesome, awesome buy for a lot of people that want to start in sim racing. So that gives me the idea of what is the best thing that I've tried for wheelbases. I have two choices. The first one is definitely the Logitech RS50 because of the cheap, affordable price point, and you can have also their pedals and their wheels. The ecosystem is starting to becoming big, but Logitech takes too much. But in isolation, it is really, really good. And then you have the PXN VD6, which in isolation, the wheelbase isn't really that good, all things considered, because of the price point. But when you put the bundle together, it's absolutely fantastic. So even though I gave a lot of crap to PXN in previous years, this year, I have to say, congratulations, this was amazing. But this channel isn't really just about wheels and wheelbases and pedals. It's all about the other things about sim racing. And one of them, for example, last year, it was the big screen TV that I've got. If I could, I would get an OLED instead of this one, but it's still working fantastic. I've tried VR this year with the big screen Beyond 2. It's a good piece of kit, but VR really isn't for me. This was the VR that I liked probably the most with the PSVR 2 because PSVR 2 was actually really comfortable. With this one, the level of immersion was really good. It felt light, but for me, the issue with VR is it is VR. I'm not a particularly big VR guy. Still prefer my TV. Doesn't matter if it's a Pimax. You can put whatever screens of VR in front of me. I'll never like them as much. It's good. The immersion was fantastic. It's a light screen, but after a while, I just want to go back to my TV. But the thing that for me takes the cake, no matter what it is, if it's wheelbases or whatever, is the Cubic Systems QSBT1 belt tensioner. I've tried it in Sim Racing Expo last year in the ImSim booth. I liked it. Generally, you get the gist of what it is in the expo. Of course, when you get home, you have more time to test it out. With the QSBT1, when you are, with no stress trying it out, for me, it was an absolute game changer in terms of immersion, to the point that even though I don't like complication in my Simric, I just left it there. I don't mind using the belt tensioner because the immersion is totally worth it for me. It's very low profile. It doesn't make a lot of noise. It is strong enough and it's easy to configure. Just let the software do its own thing. I don't even touch the profiles. It does just its own thing and it works for me and I keep using it. So the QSBT1 was definitely my favorite thing this year. 2025 really wasn't just a year of equipment. It was actually a year full of releases, full releases, changes of releases, and early access. One of them is Le Mans Ultimate. Le Mans Ultimate this year started in a very weird position with the launch of the GT3s. It had a lot of issues from 2024. The game was in a really poor position, but they were able to fix most of the situation, most of the problems this year, to the point that is my favorite sim of the year. I just keep driving on it. I love driving GT3s and LMP3s and LMP2s in that game. The Hypers will have in the future some update. It was fantastic to see how much this game has evolved and how good it is right now. But you also have the addition of Assetto Corsa Evo, which once again was a bit of a disaster at the beginning of the year. Sadly, with 0.4, it changed the game completely. 0.3 was really good, but 0.4, it finally has that sense that, okay, this is going somewhere. We're not sure if that somewhere is good, but I'm liking where Evo is at the moment. It drives much nicely, but there's still a lot of work to do, and no free roam at the moment, no indication of how the mods are going to work. This is something that, for me, it's a bit frustrating. On the other side, we also have Assetto Corsa Rally. I think it was a surprise of the year. Assetto Corsa Rally appeared almost out of nowhere. It appeared in Simracing Expo 2025, and it essentially grabbed everybody. It's a fun game to drive for me. The new update was also pretty good. I love how it drives, and it's fun. It is interesting. It is something new that is worthwhile and everybody was asking for. Something that may replace Richard Burns Rally, but at the same time is as fun as the dirt games we've seen in the past. We'll see how this evolves. I'm liking it really, really much at the moment. As good as the year has been for launches or for new pieces of content, that ones that I haven't even touched, but other people like as well. November was a weird month because it made the release of two games, Wrenchport and Project Motor Racing, and it was difficult to cover these games. Wrenchport was more or less straightforward because, well, it's not going to be something everybody likes. It's a game more centered in esports, and it didn't have a lot of traction. It has been a weird release cycle with that because everybody on that company seems to think that if you do esports right, it works just to put the game out with ESL and all of that, even though I'm not sure that everybody in sim racing likes esports or esports at all. And then you have the case of Project Motor Racing. I wanted to like that game because I think of all the games that I've launched in the past, 5-10 years even, I think in terms of scope, this was the game that had the best scope. It knew what it wanted. The car roster is absolutely fantastic. It has GT3s, it has GT4s, it has Hypers, but also has really good classic cars that I enjoy. It has good selection of classes, and it wasn't really wide in terms of a scope for a roster of cars, which told me, yeah, they are really centering themselves in really good cars. So then we have the physics to match up. But the release was weird, and the game was not really that good because of a lot of problems in physics, in performance, in driving. The AI was terrible, and I know I've released it before the release of the official release of the game. A lot of people saying, "Oh, you have to wait until the release of the game to actually properly review it," and then it was even worse apparently. I'll have to re-review these two games. For me, they were disappointment, but I don't never thought they were lazy or anything of the sorts. I thought that was really missing the mark of what people liked. It didn't feel like money grabs or anything of the sort. It just felt like something was really missing of the development of the game that they either didn't have time or didn't know what to do. I want to see how these games evolve. I will check them out either in January or February to see how they have done after the release. But for me, these two games are really the disappointments of the year. No matter if it's hardware or software, for me, these are the disappointments. Let's do my debrief for 2025. So the channel's debrief. I've done a lot of videos this year. I think this was the year that I've done more videos, review videos. That's for sure. I've done review videos of pretty much everything that I could get my hands on. And it's kind of tiring doing that because each review video takes about 40-50 hours to do at the bare minimum in testing, counter testing, editing, scripting, and all of that. So I have to be a little more selective. I know I said that last year, but I really need to. For the next year, I'll try to be more selective on what the stuff I'm going to receive. I have like 3 already lined up for pieces of equipment for wheelbases on the more high-end stuff, but the lower-end stuff is definitely more fun to do. Stuff like the RS50 or the VD6, that was pretty interesting to figure out, or the Simpson pedals. I wasn't expecting to have so much fun with those pieces of content as I did. So I'll be doing more of those. The videos that I had more fun doing this year was actually the meta commentary about sim racing. How are the games, or how is the industry? What's the issue with this and that? So just a meta commentary about what's going on. And I think the channel will be seeing more of that next year, and also more races. And hopefully, and I keep saying this, some endurance racing over the weekend, every so often, not every weekend, because I've definitely been missing those. Said the same thing last year, but I'm pretty sure this year will be the year that I'll start doing it. But I want to hear from you. What were your best and worst moments of 2025? What are you expecting of 2026 to bring to you? Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for the support this year, and I hope to see you soon.